Well, hello, my fellow car milers. How are you doing today? This is me, Luka C. And if you love to listen for hours to a bunch of knuckleheads talk about model cars, then you just found your new favorite podcast.
Hey, this is Urban from The Art of Rake on YouTube. I'm the rookie of the group. Listen to the best topics on the hobby right here, right now.
Hi, I'm Fred Pappy Henry from West Georgia Rods and Customs on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. We'll give you tips, techniques, advice on using your favorite color of Rust-Oleum.
Oh, come on.
Man, had to go there. What? Or even House of Color paints on your next project.
Hey guys, it's Mark, Hobby Dude 007 on YouTube and Facebook. Find out all the great tips and tricks, good and bad, right here on the Model Car Enthusiast Podcast.
So you better be sure to follow us, the Box of Chocolates of Model Car Podcast, because you never know what you're going to get. That was terrible, wasn't it? Right here on YouTube and Spotify. Well, hello, my fellow car milers. How are you doing today? Here it is, March 16th, 2026, the day we all reveal our USACC group build. The Unified Scale Automotive Content Creators. We get together every year, and one of us picks out a kit that means something to us deeply, and we all build that kit. And if you're watching YouTube today, you're seeing a whole bunch of YouTubers dropping their final build of this Revell 69 Camaro, and here's mine. And I just wrapped it up. I'm super happy. This is what I envisioned, and this is really cool. Let's take a look at it. So this year, Fred Henry was the lucky one picked to pick the model kit for all of us to build. And we all thought it was going to be a 67 Chevelle from AMT, the Pro Street. That's kind of the joke with him, because he owns all of them. And, well, no, surprisingly, he goes, well, we're going to do the Revell 69 Camaro, because the 69 Camaro is a very special car to him. And we all went for it. We really took off with this build. Everybody was real excited about it. It's a popular car. It's a popular kit. And I immediately, when he said it, that moment when we did our little video to announce what the kit would be, this is what popped in my head. This is something I've always wanted to do. I always loved the box art of that Rampage Camaro from the old Monogram 69 Camaro, which was And in 1999, when Revell came out with this 69 Camaro kit, it completely threw that Monogram version. It was way antiquated. It just was not a well-done kit. It was great for the times, but boy, we had this, which is an outstanding scaled replica of a 69 Camaro. It's incredibly accurate. So I always liked the Rampage, but I wanted to put it on the correct model, which is this Revell kit. So here we go. That's what I did. And it is it didn't turn out as nice as I had hoped, but I'm not unhappy with it. I had a couple of calamities, but I wanted to get this done. And it's okay. It's going to look great in my cabinet, and it's the exact look I was going for. And I did a lot of cool new things with this, and I'll point some of this stuff out to you. But starting off, you know, I've done a couple videos. I got that stance. I arced the rear springs to get the butt up in the air like that to fit those big drag slicks. And I got a video coming out. If you look at the drag slicks, how they look all filthy dirty, like older drag strips. Newer ones kind of self-clean, but drag slicks back in the day, you know, after a run, the tread would be all hot and sticky, and the return road, they would just pick up everything. And by the time they got to the pits that were usually in a field or grass, that's what the drag slicks would look like. And I wanted to replicate that look from back in those days. And I kind of tried a little technique that comes from armor weathering, basically. And I am going to have a video coming out probably in the next day on how to do that. So you can see that. And if you look on the quarter panels, and we'll see when it comes around right behind the tires, I did that too with the same technique that you'll see. I did the same thing with rubber black from Tamiya, and I just kind of kicked some black speckles up, like right there, to give it that, hot drag slick crud flying up onto your quarter panel when you're doing your burnout, just to give it that little added touch. But I was going for this late 70s, early 80s look. Those decals are exactly, that type of striping, everything, that is a typical super stock type car from the late 70s, early 80s. Originally, if any of you who have been paying attention, there's some of you probably saying, I thought you were going to do a modified production car. Modified production was a crazy class back in the late 70s. NHRA ended it, unfortunately, back in 1970. In the 80 season, actually, was the end of it. And it was a kind of a super stock class that stood on its own, and the cars were just outrageous, and they were always small blocks, really wound up. They had a unique sound, and you thought they were going to blow the manifold right out of the hood. They usually had some kind of a high-rise dual carburetor intake, and I had a hood scoop for this that gave it that look. And if you look in my early video of it all mocked up, you see I had the hood scoop on. A couple things changed my mind on that, and I just went for the super stock look. And it also changed what I did for my traction devices underneath. I made some slapper bars. I was going to run some ladder bars. It was a little more what one of those modified production cars would have had. But I went more of the super stock route because I kind of running out of time and some things that happened to the hood. And I didn't want to cut the hood out. And honestly, where we were going with this ended up being a curbside. I'm going to tell you right now, there's not an engine in it. That was a decision I made a little while back. I was just going for the stance. I can always put an engine in this kit, real easy, but this is what I wanted to have done. That look right there. And I don't know, call it cheating, or if you want to tell me I'm not finished, I really don't care. I'm finished because I got what my vision was, what I was going for. It's going to be on the shelf. I would have taken this to shows, but I did have some issues with the old decals and clearing, and I'll go over the paint real quick, and I've talked about this in a past video. The paint I was extremely happy with. I found a yellow I didn't think was going to be the right yellow, but it's what I had. It's a Tamiya Chrome Yellow TS47, and the cap just didn't look right. Can you see that? It doesn't look like the same yellow, does it? And I was really displeased with it, but it was the only yellow I had. I first laid down TS101. They're base white. I highly recommend any of these colors, especially red and yellows, and the colors that like to pull away from creases like the door jambs and on the edges of the car and all that, where the paint likes to creep away and expose the undercoating or your primer. Yeah, it's that base white, not regular white, because even white does that, but you shoot a layer, a coat of your TS101 base white down, you're not going to have that problem. And then after I did that base white, I laid this TS47 Chrome Yellow down, and I could not believe this was the yellow that I envisioned for this model. And I was really happy with it. I did a video on some paint correction because I got a little heavy-handed over here, and I had some sags here and here, and we wet sanded those out. You can see it's nice and smooth now. Plus, it was kind of cool, worked out that where the sags were, even though I did paint and it looked great. The decals went over those areas anyways if they were too much of a problem, but you still have to get them smoothed out because it would have showed through the decals anyways. I got these 30-something-year-old decals to lay beautiful. The decals just did not give me any issues. So happy with them. I let them sit for a while, and I shot my clear down, and the clear that I used that I don't seem to have, I had it here before, there we go. I used this premium top coat from Mr. Hobby. This is a acrylic enamel. Wanted to say that right. It was acrylic enamel, and it's not hot like the lacquer that Tamiya, their TS, what is it, TS13? Yeah, TS13 is super hot because it's a lacquer. I like using that TS13, and quite honestly, I think I'm going to go back to using TS13 because if you know how to use it and you're good with decals, you're not going to have issues. But there's something about this paint, I don't know what. If you listen to the next episode coming up of the Model Car Enthusiast podcast, Billy Strange and I, and of course Mark Batson and Irv over there from the Art of Rake, the four of us, we talk about this stuff, and Billy had a really interesting explanation why this happens when you use the acrylic enamels. And you go listen to that, and we'll talk more about it there. But I put a coat down, decals were great. I put a second coat down like a half hour later, decals were great. I let it sit for a while. Then I did my heavy coat, and if you can see, crinkle, crinkle, crinkle all the way right there. And then I started noticing some of the decals down the side, a little bit of crinkling, and there's a decal back here on the deck lid where there's just some wording, and it crinkled up really bad right there. Super bummed me out, but it is what it is. Oh well, it's not the perfect model, but I got my vision down, so that's where I'm happy. But I think it has a lot to do with how this paint works, or the clear, I should say, and the age of the decals. Even though they laid down nice, there was an adhesion problem that was underlying that. Who knows what happened? It's very strange that it didn't happen till, first couple coats, it looked great. Third, fourth coat went straight to Hades, let's say. We'll try to keep it clean. It is what it is. So that's where we went with this car. I wanted to just get it completed and up on the shelf and in this video, and I'm really super happy with how it turned out, even with all its warts. I'm really, really happy with this. I learned a lot on this build. Finally completing one of these Camaros, I can go back and finish a couple of the other ones that I had started that are almost finished, because, man, I learned things building this car that I never knew because I never got to the completion stage of one of these Revell 69 Camaros. So I've kind of learned all of the nuances and ins and outs and weirdnesses about this kit, it coming together. And it really does go together very well. But now that I've kind of gotten my first run of this kit out of the way, I can go back to one that I'm really working hard for it to be a show car. I want to take it to some of the big shows, and I want to put it on the tables and look as perfect as it can. And this way I've learned some things that I could have messed up if I had never built one of these completed. So that was a good learning experience doing this. And if you guys notice, and you know this kit real well, this kit usually comes with a couple different types of hoods, but the one hood it doesn't come with is the base flat hood. I took a flat hood from the AMT 68 or 67 Camaros, and I had to do a little bit of shaving down the sides here and reshape it around the cowl area where it goes down. It's actually, from this AMT kit, it's a little big, thank goodness, so you can shave this down and reshape the cowl area especially and get it down in there. And it's a little thick. You should work it a little bit more. The next time I ever do this, I know what I can do to get that hood to sit down a little bit better, but I think we're doing fine for this kit. So those are the things I did. I got the look I wanted. Basically on the interior, nothing crazy. I kind of showed some stuff on the interior, but I did build, from scratch, real quick little roll bar. I didn't do a complete cage where a car like this would have a complete cage, but it was most important that you see this right here. That's what I concentrated on, and here's a picture of the interior before it I put it all together, so you get a good look at that. So anyways, there it is, the Rampage Camaro. It was a vision I had before the words were out of Fred Henry's mouth and floating up in the air in the little bubble there like cartoons, and this vision came to my head immediately. This was what I was going to do, and here we go. I made it. Number 5, I finished. I finished number 1, number 2, didn't do so well on 3 and 4, but I'm happy to say here it is. On the day it's due, there it is, the Rampage Camaro, the 2026 USACC group build. Now it's time to get ready for the next one, because we got 6 months to start one, and Mark and I will be announcing in the next few months and over the summer who the next victim is that has to pick out the kit we're all going to build. So go on. There's a ton of videos getting dropped today. Go enjoy your USACC day. Watch everybody's videos. There are some amazing builds out there. I want to thank each and every one of you guys who get involved, all you content creators. And there's also guys who they're not on YouTube. They're over on Instagram. They got a Facebook page all over the place. There's other people doing these builds along with us, because it's content creators. It's not YouTube creators. It's online content creators that get together to do this, and it's super fun and super cool. So, man, why do we do this? Why do we mess around with these group builds with these model cars and put them together and get all excited and make these videos and show it? Why do we do this? Because it's fun. Here's the producers.